Greetings, my friends. Reform Stoic back again on the couch with another video. So, this one is interesting. I'm actually pulling an all nighter right now, but I haven't been up for that long. After my bedtime, I'm not groggy or anything yet. I'm still in the fun part where it's like, I'm pulling an all nighter and I ate some food and I'm gonna make some coffee soon. So I should be able to voice my thoughts pretty well here, hopefully, in spite of this intro being a little bit bumpy. But I don't want to be over dramatic and call this like a revelation or anything. But I was lying in bed, awake, having some trouble sleeping. Probably about time to start working on fixing my sleeping schedule. But then it came to my mind, like I was thinking of this video. I was thinking of making a video about forgiveness and how the world lacks forgiveness, how a lot of Christians lack forgiveness. And then it just started kind of clicking as I started voicing the video in my head that cancel culture is the Antichrist religion. And I was like, okay, now I'm definitely pulling an all-nighter. Now I'm definitely pulling an all-nighter. And is it clickbait? Let's find out. Let's unpack this. And as always, this is just off the top, no notes. Not being like super meticulous with Bible passages or anything. Everything just off the top, baby, off the dome. And I'm still trying to decide if it's going to be SJW cancel culture is the Antichrist religion or just cancel culture. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. SJW is social justice warrior. And I wanted to get into a little bit how it's not just the left, how it's also conservatives. And when you're weighing out the Antichrist and as an extension, the Antichrist religion, you're going to have to take into account that an overwhelming majority of people are going to be deceived. And if I'm able to identify what likely could be the Antichrist religion, then I should be able to start making some kind of predictions about what the Antichrist deception might look like. And I started to think, well, it could be this great coming together against people that the overwhelming majority of people are able to be convinced that it's a good thing to gang up against somebody. And I'm not going to say who I think that could be because I don't really know. But through the lens of cancel culture, this Antichrist figure who would be like a populist of some sort will say, hey, the problem is people like this, and we can all come together against these people, and it's a good thing. And everybody, for the most part, will be in agreement that it's a good thing to oppress a certain group of people. And you might think I'm implying some certain group of people, but I'm not. It could be anybody. The point is that it will not be just, even though the overwhelming majority of people think that it's just to form a mob against some certain marginalized group of people that the Antichrist has deemed it is good to oppress these people. And that's cancel culture in a nutshell. And when people are trying to talk about candidates for the Antichrist, it makes it very difficult. And I don't want to just start listing off names. It's really controversial to be like, oh, this former president, people think that he's the Antichrist. Like, I don't want to just start saying, oh, maybe this guy's the Antichrist, maybe this guy's the Antichrist. I don't want somebody to get a clip like Elon Musk to get a clip, like, yeah, this guy reformed Stoic thinks that maybe you're the Antichrist. Like, I don't need that. I don't need that. But that's what makes it difficult for somebody to fit that condition. It's like, so-and-so is the Antichrist, but a lot of people didn't like him. Like, we'll just say maybe some people think Trump is the Antichrist, but everybody has to embrace this person. Everybody has to come together over this person. And it's very difficult to fit that condition. It's like, who's somebody that everybody likes? But I see cancel culture, and I think that's something that the overwhelming majority of people could come together over. Some figure unites everybody and says, hey, everyone. And yes, it would look like a populist. The Antichrist is going to be like a populist. And certain names come to mind. The number one would be Hitler. Hitler was a populist. He's somebody who comes into a complex situation with easy solutions, quick fix, no-brainer solutions. Trump is absolutely a populist. Populists come to power in difficult, trying times. Like, if a populist is coming to power in any nation, it means that things are not good. The populist points out the obvious flaws and gives easy, one-size-fits-all solutions, and it's love them or hate them. It's love them or hate them. And if the populist gets into power, then things can get crazy. It's important to be polarized and at least be able to see if somebody's a populist. It doesn't automatically mean that they're bad. But trying to be objective, trying not to get sucked into radical nonsense or to be brainwashed by someone with an agenda, you need to say, okay, is the United States in bad shape? Yes. Is the scene dire? Are things rough? Are there obvious problems? Yes. Is this person pointing out the obvious problems and getting like a cult following of people who think that he's some sort of a messiah type of figure? Yes. And I'm not saying that I have some huge thing against Trump, but he is very much so a populist. So just kind of like working from the top down or the bottom up, I kind of never can make the difference of that. I don't really know what that means. Like, working from the top down or bottom up, whichever one is the least obvious way to look at things, working backwards, it's like I'm making the prediction through the model before explaining the model. But the prediction is that the Antichrist religion from the Antichrist populist figure will unite the world over, hey, this group of people deserves to get canceled. And so what's wrong with cancel culture, and why is it not just the left? I'm always trying to make these points about how Matthew 7 is a very powerful center point of the teachings of Christ. You look at the Gospels, you try to summarize the Gospels. Jesus went around, healed people, fed people, multiplied fish, performed miracles. But what did Jesus actually teach about how people should live? Well, when I'm summarizing it, I say 8 Beatitudes, Matthew 7. There's some little gems spread out. He says, people will know that you follow me by your love for one another. But I think one of the central teachings is on judgment. And I butt heads with people a lot over this. Judge lest not ye be judged. And you get these Christians firing back with, no, Christians have to judge people because they judge with a righteous judgment. I had a Christian in my chat explain to me, because this is some This is some weird level of 36D chess that I'm going to where I've declared that I'm not a Christian. And then people in my chat who say that they are Christians, it's like, woo, it's getting to some weird upside down. Like, I actually am a real Christian, and they're actually literally like a Satanist pretending to be a Christian. And then it's like, they're persecuting me for saying that I'm not a Christian, and I literally am a real Christian who follows the real teachings of Christ, and they're literally a Satanist pretending to be a Christian. Like, I actually believe that that's happening. Because we're getting deep here, baby. We're the chosen ones around here. And I think that this is some heavy stuff that I'm on right now. So, judgment. What's the reality? Who's right? Matthew 7 says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged. Pick the log out of your own eye before you pick the speck out of your brother's eye." And then these people say, well, I'm judging you with a righteous judgment. Because as a Christian, I have to judge you. Wow, how could I ever deal with that argument? And I've heard some pretty high-level internet theologians, some guys with some pretty serious view counts and followers and, really important stuff that objectively means you're an important, intelligent person, make these arguments. Well, let me put it this way. If you're like recruiting people to become Christians, it's like, hey, everybody, once you're a Christian, you have a free pass to judge everyone because you will be judging with a righteous judgment. Become a Christian, become a judger. So somebody's like eating a chicken wing, is like, oh, I'm an atheist, I don't even believe. Oh, I get to judge people? Well, sign me up. Yeah, I've been a Christian for a week. I'm judging you with a righteous judgment. Well, what about Matthew 7 when Jesus, in one of his most center point teachings, said not to judge people? Oh, that's not really what that means. Judge lest not ye be judged. Pick the log out of your own eye before you pick the speck out of your brother's eye. Well, I guess what people are trying to say is that they've already picked the log out of their eye. It's like, no, well, I did. I'm perfect. I am righteously judging you. And it's this weird thing. I want to say it's like an Eastern kind of a wisdom type of a thing. It's like, I know that you're not qualified to judge me because you are judging me. It reminds me of the cities in the yogi who has meditated and practiced for years and practiced spiritual asceticism for years. Eventually they obtain these cities, these powers. But the tradition, the legend is that they don't use them. And then, you can look at that in kind of this like scammy kind of a way. It's like, I am an ascended master. I've obtained the cities. Okay, prove it. Oh, the master knows not to use the cities once they have them. It's disrespectful and you shouldn't be testing me. Just give me your money and sign up for the camp. Look, Eastern religion isn't perfect either, okay? I kind of went through the phase where I pointed out all the negatives of Christianity and then all the positives of Eastern religion. Nobody's perfect. And that's kind of the point. So, do I believe that there are people who have gotten to a state where they are coming from a place of righteous judgment? Yes. And it's not you. It's not you. People in my comment section, people in the lynch mobs who are trying to justify like their stalking and harassment, it's not you. You are not performing a righteous judgment. I guarantee it. Priests, the greatest of the priests, basically, like, you have to be old, first of all. You need to be an elder, and it needs to come from a place of, like, you actually want to help someone, okay? I don't know if anybody in my chat or anybody in my comment section has ever actually wanted to help me. I very rarely get someone saying, Stoic, I'm genuinely concerned and I want to see you do better, and you're falling short in this place, and if you could just do this, you could just do better. Or it could even be passionate. It's like, damn it, Stoic, like you're such a great guy, and I see that you're falling by the wayside, and you're too good of a fucking person to go to waste. Like I can't just sit here and watch you so fall apart. So either get your shit together, or I can't be around you, bro, because it hurts too much to watch you screw up. You know, that kind of like caring, tough love. That's righteous judgment. It's like, hey man, I'm just trying to let you know I'm 30 years older than you, and I have experienced things, and I see what you're going through, and you think you got it figured out, and you don't. And I want to see you do better, bro. Because I love you. Because that's how I show that I'm a follower of Christ, is that I love you. Our love for one another is how we show that we follow Christ. And I've picked the log out of my own eye. And I'm still not perfect, but I care about you, and I know that I know better than you, and I want to help you. That's righteous judgment. So, in conclusion, do I think that anybody who declares themselves a Christian on the internet and debatertains everyone arrogantly and like disrespectfully is like, you're a piece of shit, and well, I have to judge you because that's what it means to be a Christian? What about Matthew 7 when Jesus, no, it doesn't, that's not what it means. I know it seems like it means that, but it actually means completely the opposite because you're not smart enough to understand. So, but I think that was pretty convincing, okay? I think it's pretty convincing. So, in conclusion, for the first part of my argument, I don't think that as soon as you declare yourself a Christian that you have a pass to righteously judge everyone, and you have to judge people. And my first example was like, well, when you're advertising to become a Christian, it's like, hey, part of being a Christian is you can righteously judge people, in spite of the fact that Jesus literally said, judge lest not ye be judged. Okay, so you didn't find that convincing. I think a lot of people did, but okay, so what else? Forgiveness. Jesus said, you shall forgive 70 times 7. Are there any similarities between judgment and forgiveness? Is it relevant to righteous judgment? I think when we're coming from a place of righteous judgment, it's acknowledging that someone did something wrong. Are you allowed to acknowledge that people have done things wrong? Absolutely. But if this person repents, if this person apologizes, if this person explains themselves, at that point, it is your duty as a Christian to forgive that person. So when you take clips of somebody and things they said in the past, and you make these big compilations of cherry-picked worst moments of, say, like a YouTuber live streamer, and you take all these clips and you go to like a local neighborhood watch group, and you post them every day trying to rile everybody up. See, the problem is that I've explained all of those clips multiple times for years now, and those clips are all years and years and years old. And the problem is that if you are a follower of Christ, you have to forgive me. So I'm in this place where it's like literally everyone against me is a servant of Satan. And you can't say you're a Christian if you haven't forgiven me. So anybody who's a part of this lynch mob against me, anybody who's like, Stoic's this, and he's that, and he's this, and he's that, and he's and then he said this once, and you are a servant of Satan. I am a servant of Christ. You've either forgiven me or you're serving Satan. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Maybe that's a little bit dramatic, but you're living in sin, okay? So righteous judgment is taking into context that Jesus commanded you to forgive your brother 70 times 7. And then you might try to play this covenant theology like, oh, well, you're not my brother. Jesus also said to love your enemy. There's no escape, okay? I'm a theologian. I know what I'm talking about. I've studied this for years. I've taken it seriously. I have taken flack for, well, you said you're a Protestant. Oh, you don't believe in the Trinity, and now you believe in the Trinity, and oh, now you're a Catholic, and oh, now you're not a Catholic, and oh, now you think maybe you're a Gnostic, and oh, now you don't. No, look at Stoic, everybody. He's all over the place. That's because I'm not going to just live in a hug box forever for my ego when I come across better information. Because I want the truth. I want to know reality. And that's how I think I'm coming to some of these higher truths. And that's why I'm starting to think, I think I really am a chosen one. I think I really am a chosen one, man, because I'm being unjustly persecuted. And there's a history of people being unjustly persecuted. And I think the Antichrist deception is going to have something to do with people being unjustly persecuted. And everybody's gonna gather around as the Antichrist points people at somebody. There's gonna be some sort of a scapegoat. It could be incels. Okay, we're kind of seeing that. Like, everybody's kind of ganging up on these disenfranchised men. Oh, they're dangerous and they're evil and they're misogynistic. And I've just seen how easy it is to manipulate people, you know? It's like, oh, this guy was an incel and look what he did. He's a horrible person. And well, that guy's an incel too. And there's no proof, but nobody cares because they're overly emotional and they're watching a television screen and they're watching propaganda. They're like, yeah. Round them up. They all deserve it. They all deserve punishment. They all deserve prison. They all deserve death. And, you know, the obvious example in the past has been the Nazis, but then there was also communism. And there's been all kinds of massive groups of people who have done horrible things in the past, man. And people are susceptible to propaganda and brainwashing. And the thing about cancel culture, so why is cancel culture the Antichrist religion? Because it directly opposes Christ's teaching, judge lest not ye be judged. And it directly opposes his commandment to forgive. His command to forgive. You are disobeying Christ, telling you not to judge, lest ye be judged. And the level of judgment these people have, I'm not even going to debate it with you anymore. I have more arguments because I see people trying to weasel their way out, but there's no weaseling your way out. There's nothing just about it. But I'm just going to keep going because I'm ready to nail these people to the crucifix verbally, metaphorically. You're done after this video. This is it. You are the Antichrist. You are the servants of the devil. You are wickedness embodied. You are judging in a way that you shouldn't be. You are not forgiving. And that shows in your persecution, in judgment. And it is all a manifestation of your wrath. One of the 7 deadly sins. Judgment. No forgiveness. And wrath. And this is a mentality that is taking over everything. What do people love to do with Facebook? Screenshot, look what this guy said to me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. What an asshole. Let's freaking spray paint his car. I know what time he goes to work. Let's get in a Telegram and message each other and figure out ways to ruin this guy's life. Because we have righteously judged him, and we will never forgive him, and he will feel our collective wrath. Everything about it is evil. Objectively, according to the teachings of Christ, according to the 10 Commandments, and it is rapidly growing. And I would say that the majority of people are being led astray about it. And there's so many different levels to it. So everybody knows about the blue-haired SJWs. Everybody knows about the radical lefties. But you see, I've seen the conservative side of it. And I've seen how the conservatives work together with the SJWs. It doesn't matter. Boomers are just boomers, bro. Like, when it comes to boomers, they could have a lifted truck and fly Trump flags and American flags and act like they're Christians, even though they're not. You're not a Christian unless you live it. That's the way I see it. The way I see it is, if you have some flimsy like worldview where you don't know what it means to follow Christ, in my opinion, you're not a Christian. So I said that I'm not a Christian. No, you're not a Christian. I'm a Christian. That's the reality. Because I did the work, I did the reading, and I know what it means to follow Christ. I'm sorry if I'm coming off as like arrogant but I'm being persecuted for righteousness' sake, which is one of the 8 Beatitudes. So, blessed are those who suffer for justice' sake. I get justice and righteousness mixed up in those. It's like, one of them is, blessed are those who thirst for righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, and blessed are those who suffer on the behalf of justice. One of them is righteousness, one of them is justice. But I qualify for all 4, okay? For all 4. And I'm tired of people's bullshit, okay? Because I have explained myself. This video is not all about me and my personal situation, but it's relevant. It's relevant. I am being unjustly persecuted because people are not living like Christians. You're not righteously judging me. You're not fit to judge me. You are not showing mercy. You are not being forgiving. And ultimately, what this all comes down to is your desire to flex your wrath. You want me to endure your wrath. Everyone who takes part in this kind of behavior is in service of Satan. Objectively. According to theology. It all checks out, boys. I brought it all to the table. I've explained it all to you point by point. But yeah, as far as like conservatives, you know, these people are going with this like Patriot Act narrative, like, oh, this person is a potential terrorist. You know, like and they'll eat their own because, you know, these alt-right guys they're kind of like a weird contortion of a conservative as well, you know, like they share some conservative views in a very confused way. But yeah, these boomer neocons who live and breathe like, oh, if you don't support the CIA, you're not American, and well, the Patriot Act is great. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to worry about. Oh, you're on an FBI watch list? Well, that means you're a terrorist and you deserve it. And whatever you did, you deserve it. I'm America, America, America. Yeah, let's go FBI. Yeah, get that incel terrorist. He deserves to be stalked. Those are the kind of people who live and breathe neighborhood watch. So, if anything, what I've noticed is that the kind of cancel culture with SJWs, it tends to not go as deep. It can, and then, you know, the neighborhood watch wasn't all conservatives. Like, there was some, like, radical anti-Trump people there, too. But, you know, boomers. Like, the boomers, they're in it together. Boomers are an international clique, dude. Like, they're in it together. Like, they'll put aside their political views to like work together. It's generational overall, but yeah, I digress. What I feel like I've noticed about the lefties is that they tend to be younger, college. They might be on their way to like make work jobs with their humanities degrees, but they don't have as much power. Like, These conservative bootlicker neocon boomers who actually benefit from Republican economic policies, who actually benefit from the tax cuts because they got money. These people got money. Sometimes they're Freemasons. Sometimes they're in the FBI or the CIA, or they know somebody. It's like, oh yeah, I was in the Air Force, and my buddy Billy, he's in the CIA. Like, these people got connections, they got money, they got careers, and they think they have all that because they're better than you. Like, basically, guys, the alt-right is a psyop to like make young people embrace neocon conservatism. And it doesn't really matter if you have some fringe far-right shit. You're gonna vote for Trump. You're gonna vote for Trump. And it doesn't matter what you think about your weird fringe shit that you learned off the internet. You're going to vote for Trump, dude. You're going to vote for the neocon conservative economic policies to keep boomers rich, bro. So people like me can't get any breaks on my student loans because I basically got manipulated when I was a little kid. But we don't need to start getting into that. I'm not saying that I'm a leftist. I'm just saying that, like, conservative cancel culture people have more money and connections, and they actually tend to be the Freemasons and the CIA and the FBI. Okay? And I'm not saying that lefties don't have their place in that. The way that I see it, guys, is that everybody already knows that the left is insufferable. Everybody already knows that the left is cancel culture. But what a lot of people don't know, because you haven't experienced this kind of stuff that I have, is that conservatives are basically just as bad. Sometimes they're worse. Like the worshipping of the state, the bootlicking, the freaking bootlicker police flag, bro. Anytime I see that like black and blue police flag, I cringe so hard, bro. That's the bootlicker flag, dude. That is the totalitarian wank bootlicker flag. And I'm not saying like I automatically don't like the police, but it's the mentality of the people who want those flags, bro. And these are the people who want their conceal and carry. I love my guns. I got my conceal and carry gun. These people are fucking nuts, dude. And they're gonna try to shoot you with their conceal and carry gun, and they're gonna try to tell you why it was justified. And these people are fucking dangerous and nuts, and they're everywhere. And I just think that a lot of you guys probably like haven't lived through some of the scenarios that I have where you've had the opportunity to see that. You've hung out in these fringe parts of the internet, and you have digested a shit ton of propaganda, a lot of which is created by the FBI and the CIA, guys. I'm sorry, dude. It's a big, scary, ugly world out there, and a lot of you guys just think you got it all figured out, and you just don't, bro. Some of the worst fucking cancel culture people I have ever come across are lifted trucks, chewing tobacco, fucking carry arm on the side of their pocket. You see my gun, you see my flags, I'm voting for Trump. Fuck you, you terrorist, you deserve it. Where does he work? Let's call his job. We can't have a fucking terrorist at a job. Like, why am I a terrorist? Because you said that. Because you said that. But what about free speech? Fuck free speech. We're starting to get conservatives who don't give a fuck about the Constitution, bro. That's when you start to see, oh my gosh, this is so huge right now. The midwit mic drop is like, the left aren't really liberals, and neither are the right. Everybody knows at this point that far radical lefties aren't like liberals. Yeah, they're more like socialists or communists or cultural Marxists. The right aren't liberals either, bro. And they're just as totalitarian, if not more. And maybe you think that you're not going to feel their boot, but I'll tell you what, man, like, you will, and you just don't know. You just don't know that you're shilling for a regime that doesn't give a fuck about you and actually sees you as the enemy. It's like ants. It's like that, what is that DreamWorks movie, Ants? They spend their entire lives digging in this fucking tunnel. Oh, we finally did it. Yeah, you dug to the water so it can drown you. Okay? And I'm not saying that the answer is to vote Democrat. I'm just saying, bro, it's fucking crap sandwich or giant douche, just like South Park said. Trump is a populist, he's a neocon, he's a billionaire, and you're fucking brainwashed. If, like, I just imagine a guy with like a freaking American flag, sunglasses, and a big Uncle Sam American flag hat, and like 2 conceal and carry guns, and he's like, you mean Trump's not going to save the world? Like, dude, what? Who are you? Like, what the fuck have you been thinking? Like, dude, you're brainwashed by the CIA. You're literally brainwashed by the CIA. Neocons are going to save the world from the banks and the wars. Like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? Once upon a time, the left was liberal, and they were the resistance. They got psyoped. The freaking Frankfurt School had OSS people. I already made a video about this because Southern Israelite was trying to blame it on something else. Like, no, dude. They had OSS operatives in the Frankfurt School. That was the CIA making the left, like, different. If anything, the left was closer to, like, real communism, which isn't good, but it's a threat. And that's what the CIA does, is they de-radicalize and they deal with threats, okay? I'm not saying one thing or the other. I'm just saying that, bottom line is, that's how the left became what it is now. The CIA changed it through the Frankfurt School. And as you know, if you've been to college, the universities are shoving the Frankfurt School shit down everybody's throat. And it's mind-blowing. I learned about the Frankfurt School off of the internet first, and then I started learning about it in university, in my upper division philosophy of law course. I'm like, oh shit, they're really teaching this shit. They're really teaching this shit. Critical race theory, critical feminist theory. Holy shit. They're really teaching us this bullshit. The nerve. So that was a long-winded tangent on how it's not just the left, bro. The cancel culture is bigger than ever. Okay, like, I saw that this guy said something that if I screenshot it and show it to everybody, it's not going to make him look good. I have righteously judged him, and I'm not going to forgive him or reason with him, and he's going to feel my wrath. You're a bad person, and you need to repent. Everybody involved in that. If you've ever screenshotted anyone to shame them, to try to hurt their reputation, you are a bad person and you need to repent. Ultimately, everybody's a sinner. On some level, everybody's a bad person. But you got all these Christians out here, no, I'm righteously judging you because I have the title of Christian. What it means to be a Christian is I get to judge you and I get to judge them and I get to be the most fucking judgmental person ever. But Jesus said, judge lest not ye be judged. Oh, animal screeching noises. There's really no argument against that. I'm giving you guys the benefit. I'm just being nice by bringing up forgiveness and other things. Judge lest not ye be judged, dude. Unless you're like, have a huge beard and you're doing this, like, you're just an asshole. And you're sinning. Show that you follow Jesus by your love for one another. Like, bro, people have lost the way. Churches have lost the way. I see how rumors spread in church and gossip spreads through church. It's a fucking satanic temple where people practice the Antichrist religion. So based off of this hypothesis that it seems to me like the Antichrist religion is cancel culture because it is drenched in judgment, failure to forgive, and wrath, and probably other things. I'll probably have to expand on this more. So based on that hypothesis, I can't make a prediction on who the Antichrist is going to be. But the Antichrist deception will involve persecution. It could involve other things. Some people think there's going to be like a fake alien invasion. Well, maybe in the fake alien invasion, let's say it's like, some people think aliens are demons and that the government's working with alien demons. So the alien demons come, or the Project Bluebeam happens, and then the alien demons are like, the real problem is this group of people, and if we all just work together, and then they'll just have the best rhetoric ever. They'll come up with all the best explanations and reasons for why everybody needs to gather around and sacrifice this group of people. And then when you die and you get judged, or God tells you the objective truth, he's going to be like, hey, you know what? Even though like you heard cutting edge rhetoric from satanic alien demon AI overlords that convinced you with like 300 IQ arguments that these people deserve to be persecuted, they didn't. And you're a piece of shit. Because that's the whole direction that the world has been going in ever since social media. Is all this cancel culture horse shit. Well, you deserve to be ruined because I'm upset and you're going to feel my wrath. Oh, well, I'm sorry about the clips, and it doesn't matter. I don't forgive you. You're a bad person. I'm righteously judging you. Let me just go whack off to your pain for 4 years straight because I'm a good person and you're not. They're servants of the devil. They're evil. The wheat are separating from the chaff, my friends. I have suffered for righteousness' sake. I thirst for justice or righteousness or whatever, man. I'm out here living it. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on my flaws. I'm out here living it, though, bro. And I think that cancel culture is the Antichrist religion. I think that anybody who takes part in that kind of behavior, you shouldn't call yourself a Christian. And people are too worried about the title of Christian. That's why I think it's important I made that video that said, I'm not a Christian. Because that title doesn't mean anything. That title doesn't mean anything. You literally have Satanists infiltrating the church. You literally have Freemasons infiltrating the church. You literally have Knights of Columbus that basically are Freemasons infiltrating the church. Bro, like, the title Christian doesn't mean anything to me. But I'm a Christian. Live it. Do it. Be it. Do what Jesus said. Jesus said not to judge people lest ye be judged. Are you freaking meditating with a huge beard and you're 80 years old and you're super wise? No, you're not. You can't righteously judge anyone. Whoever's watching this. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You need to forgive people, okay? So chances are, whoever it is you're dealing with, like whoever you have your little vendetta with, like some guy at the gym fucking pissed you off, so you want to figure out how to like, I'm gonna scheme and connive, and I'm gonna figure out how to ruin this guy. Okay, well, the big guy at the gym who bumped your shoulder and pissed you off, you need to get over it. You need to forgive. You need to just let it roll off, especially if they ask for forgiveness. If that guy's like, hey, you know what, man? I'm sorry I was a dick to you. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's cool, man, whatever. I'm still gonna ruin him. Because I'm the good guy. I'm gonna figure out where you live and where you work, and I'm gonna fucking ruin your life for the next 4 years because I'm a good person. The fucking insanity that I have witnessed over these last 4 years. This angry lynch mob of people obsessing over trying to ruin me. And they think that they're the good guys and I'm the bad guys. All because I exposed the fucking CIA dressing up like fucking mailmen in my neighborhood and doing their weird, unconstitutional horse shit. Oh, but hey, man, that's just all suffering for justice and righteousness' sake, man. Justice, righteousness. It sounds like it's the same thing, bro. It's close enough. You gotta forgive, guys. You gotta let things go. if you find yourself in a cancel mob, and sometimes it's hard, bro. See, here, let me leave it on this. This is a weird place to leave it, but I think it's relevant, and I think it needs to be said. Something really big happening right now are these like pedo hunter people who try to, they pretend to be a little kid, and then they meet up with some creep, and then they do whatever. Now, I don't automatically have a problem with that. There's a lot of people who do that, and some people do it better than others, I guess, is what it comes down to. There's that one where there's like that huge guy with the red beard. I can't remember what his channel is called, but he does it all right. Like, I think he's doing a positive thing. But some people who do that shit are really sadistic, and they just want somebody to be cruel to. They want someone who it's okay for them to be cruel. These are people who want to beat somebody to a bloody pulp. These are people who want to torture someone. These are people who have very sadistic, dark desires. I've been in discussions about this online, and a lot of people say that these people have their own repressed pedophilic desires or sadistic. They're fucking sadists, okay? And they're looking for someone who it's okay socially to exercise this cruelty on, okay? And I believe in justice, okay? A scene that comes to mind is I really like Batman Forever. That's the one that has Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, Val Kilmer Batman. You see Robin going from having this like blind rage because Two-Face kills his parents, and then as the movie unfolds, there's a opportunity he has to kill Two-Face, and Two-Face is getting ready to fall off, and he's like, I'll see you in hell, and then he grabs his hand. Robin grabs his hand to help him up. He's like, I'd rather see you in jail. He finally learns that it's enough for him to get justice. He doesn't need to do this sadistic, bombastic, like beating his face in, because Batman explained to him that doesn't make it better, and you'll see the eyes of your perpetrators and everybody else, and it will never go away, and you'll go down the same path that I did. You need to fight for justice, okay? I believe it or not, and I said this in my last video before my other video, the one about justice, I believe in elements of our justice system, and these kind of guys who are trying to meet up with like little boys and little girls, they're fucking scumbags. But I want due justice, okay? Ultimately, it's a weird thing because I think the legal scenario, even with like To Catch a Predator and stuff, the old school stuff that's on TV, because they weren't really meeting up with a 13-year-old, they were meeting up with this guy pretending to be one, they didn't really break the law. I'm not trying to defend them. I think that's the case. Like, look it up. I think that's how it works, is like they would have broken the law if they were really meeting up with a 13-year-old. So it's this weird thing where it's like, okay, yeah, you found someone who has the tendencies of a predator, but in that particular scenario, they didn't really break the law. So I don't know. I'm just trying to like hash out how something like that should be handled. If it were up to me, those people would basically, you'd figure out how to label that a crime. And it's like a mental health issue. Those people need to take classes. Those people need to be on probation, watched, monitored. They lose some of their internet privileges. Something like that. But anyway, I'm pulling an all-nighter, and this video has gone on long, and this is kind of a hard, like, place to leave things. Justice, my friends. This is all part of it. Judgment, forgiveness, justice. Justice is relevant. A righteous judgment to give due justice, not getting your emotions into it, because you see, this is an important example. It's an awkward, uncomfortable example, but this label of the pedo, the predator, people can really rally around that, and that's when they really feel the most justified for their vigilante justice. And I just saw an article the other day. They just labeled some guy a pedo who wasn't, and these fucking nutbags tortured him to death while they're high on meth. Because some of these fucking pedo hunter people are just absolute scumbag degenerates themselves. It doesn't mean the people that they're hunting down aren't. Those people are fucking scumbags too, but these people want to get high on meth and like torture people, dude. They're fucking unhinged, and they're looking for a victim. It's like, oh, well, society will thank me if I do. Like, there's these ravenous fucking hounds that they're just looking for a dog treat. And it's not justice, man. It's not justice. I think that example was important in terms of like the mob mentality. You should try to find that article about somebody who, it was like his ex-wife or some woman was mad at him. He's like, yeah, and he's a fucking pedophile. And then they tortured him to death. And it's like, oh, wait, no, he wasn't. Now, if justice would have been involved, there would have been an investigation. Things would have all been done by the books. Due process. There always needs to be due process. Because then they would have realized, oh, somebody just fucking lied. So he shouldn't be tortured to death. Actually, this woman should probably be punished for slander or libel. So I'll leave you with that, my friends. It's a weird place to leave it, but I think it's relevant, you know? Like this mob mentality, like, oh, you know, this person deserves to be punished because we say so. That is the most extreme example. That's the closest to the reality. It's like, you know, this guy's a fucking scumbag. He was trying to meet up with a 13-year-old. Let us just fucking get him. That's the most extreme example. And it's an important example. It's because you could be wrong. You could be misled. Justice. Justice is important. And I could go on and on and on about that subject, and it's awkward because now it's extending the video. And think about it. These are things to think about. I bring up stuff like that because it should make you think, man. Like, this is why real justice is important. If we can deviate from due process and the laws that have been meticulously voted in and agreed upon, if we can just on a whim say, oh, you know what, this guy doesn't deserve due process because he's a fucking scumbag, we don't have a system anymore. We don't have justice anymore. Blessed are those who thirst for justice and suffer for justice. God bless, my friends.